Hello and welcome back to another sketchbook tour. This is my 5th sketchbook that I have completed in my artistic journey. I apologize for my horrendous nails. Glitter! So this is a sketchbook that I started in the summer of 2020 and finished on January 1st of 2021. This is when I got my Skillshare free trial, and I was trying things out and experimenting and practicing on different forms of art. And I was taking this class that was like 12 hours or so on the human figure. So this was the initial start of the journey, doing like the torso and things like that, and then started to add the legs in there, and then I started working on the feet. And then here you can see I said I hate feet. I don't know why drawing feet and hands are just so incredibly hard for me. But yeah, it was really fun just like taking each part of the body, working on it, and then trying to create a full human figure. This is just some watercolor that I was messing around with. I love drawing faces, as you'll probably see throughout the sketchbook. Here's just some more, taking the upper torso and experimenting with that. I was really proud of myself at the time, because when you're practicing something over and over again, it's kind of like muscle memory, and it becomes a part of the process. And in the class, the teacher focused on drawing the human figure in under 10 minutes. So some, like this one, I was drawing in under 10 minutes, which was like actually insane for me, because I'm such a perfectionist and I spend so much time trying to get everything perfect. But with the human figure, it kind of forced me to let go of that, because, you know, the human figure isn't made up of straight lines. Like, you have to kind of just trust your gut and do what you gotta do, and just crank it out. So here's when I started working on the arms and a little bit of hands, and just kind of like letting the body come together. And I believe this was a class also on gesture, so like all kinds of funky poses and things like that, and I was having so much fun doing it. It was like really, really incredible for me to see the transition from you know, like taking this little kidney bean of a torso and then putting so much practice in it to the point where you can just do this in under 10 minutes. And I was really proud of myself. I would say that I have not worked on my human figure since last summer, so I don't think that when I go to do it again now, I don't think that it's going to be necessarily as good as this, and not even that this is very good, but for me, I'm very proud of this. And then, so this page is working on the hands and the head, which is something that I still kind of struggle with. And then this was just taking, this was like a full figure, under 10 minute study. So each page was just a different pose, and I would do it in under 10 minutes. And then we started working on shading and lighting and shadows and things like that. So that was a very fun journey for me, and that takes up a lot of the beginning of my sketchbook. But I just love looking back at this and flipping through and being like, I did that, and I can do it again. And it's just very encouraging and very exciting and rewarding for me to be able to draw or at least be familiar with the human figure, because it is actually one of my favorite things to draw. I don't know what it is. I just think that the human body is extremely beautiful, and how everybody's different and blah blah blah, and I could talk about it forever, but we'll just keep going. So this is when I first got my first ever gouache set. Well, it's not a set, but I just bought myself some tubes of gouache, and this was a practice within a Skillshare class as well. This is when I first started getting into alcohol-based markers as well. I had gotten a pack of Copic, like the Chow Copic markers. They were on sale at Michael's for 99 cents a piece, and I was like, oh my god. So I bought these 6 colors, and I took this color palette and I thought to myself, I was like, what does this make me think of? And I don't know why, but for some reason I was like, sad grandma snail. And that is why that is there. So here I was just doodling with some flowers. This was when I got my tubes of gouache. Let me actually go grab them really quickly. Okay, so I don't know why I can't find my red one at the moment, somewhere in my pile of paints, but these were the first gouache that I had ever purchased for myself, and I was so excited about it. And I just got the primary colors to kind of force myself into color theory and understanding color mixing and how to get basically any color just from a few tubes of paint. Since gouache is relatively expensive, I wanted to start small. And I haven't yet expanded my gouache collection just because I'm still kind of feeling it out, but I just wanted to show you that those are the gouaches that I purchased. Another thing that's really interesting about color theory that I didn't know at the time going into it was that, like, the difference between warm reds and cool reds, warm yellows, cool yellows, warm blues, cold blues, etc. And I did only get I only got 4 tubes of gouache, so I didn't have, you know, as much freedom in color mixing as I wish I did, but it was really fun just sitting down and experimenting with gouache. And I also have a video on my channel that isn't necessarily a tutorial by any means, but it is just a really chill video of me playing around with paint and mixing colors and seeing what I can get. So I'll link that in the little whatever thingy wherever it goes. So this was me just experimenting with the Copic markers that I said I got earlier. These are just some cute little sad flowers. It's funny how long ago this all feels now, but this was a Skillshare class from a girl named Arlene. She has a YouTube channel as well here. It's called Arlie Bean, I believe, and I recently subscribed to her, and I really like following her videos. She's such a soothing, calm person, and she has this class about painting with watercolors, and specifically painting skin, and I forget the term she calls it, but it's called like rainbow skin or something like that, and it's just focused on taking, you know, different colors of the rainbow and using them to shadow or highlight the face. So that was really fun to learn about, and that's kind of what I was doing here. And then this is when I used it in practice, and I'm actually still really quite proud of this. I think that she's really cute. This is just, I don't even want to talk about this. I was attempting to make a character, oh my gosh, I don't know if you could hear my dog barking, but he's barking probably at nothing right now. These are just like a handful of girls that I was drawing. And this was a Skillshare class on colored pencils. I started getting into colored pencils lately. And in the next sketchbook tour of my 6th sketchbook, you'll definitely see that I've been super into colored pencils lately. But this kind of realistic style I've drifted away from, definitely. But I mean, there was just a class on drawing pastries and baked goods, and I was like, yeah, I want to do that. This was another class on Skillshare about drawing eyes. And then this was just a watercolor landscape that I was doing. This is actually a hilarious little comic that I drew, depicting me being in a hangry mood, and it's basically just me when I'm hangry, and then I forget that I am hangry, and I'm like, oh, I forgot food exists, and then I eat it, and then I get happy. Here I was working on feet again, because that is something I am really bad at, and I have not touched since this page, I don't think. This was me just experimenting with some stamps that I got, and just like some super random doodles. It's really crazy. I mean, you'll see how much my style has changed in the past year. Like this kind of style, and then at the end you'll just kind of see like it gets really different. But you'll see that later. This is when I started my first ever art class at my college. It was a lot of fun just to do it. I wanted to do it, honestly, just to try it out, just because I've been experimenting a lot within my educational journey, and I sometimes don't really know what it is that I want, and I thought, you know, maybe art school would be something that I could do, and so I just wanted to try it out. So we were just doing some texture studies, patterns. This is just a really, really silly doodle that I did. Sometimes ideas just come to me and I'll just put them on paper, and I literally just put that down and I was like, that's funny. It's funny to me. So now we're gonna get into Inktober of 2020. This was just my planning, just trying to get my thoughts and ideas together. This was day 1. The prompt was bloody cocktail, and I will pop up my finished illustration on the screen, but yeah, I was just sketching her out, and then I took this sketch and I put it into Procreate, and yeah, I think I was really proud on how it turned out, actually. It's kind of like got a vintage vibe. Holy cow, my dog is going absolutely insane. You can most definitely hear that, I'm sure. So this was for the prompt Ghost, and I kind of wanted to play upon this idea of boobies, because I kind of liked putting some humor within my art, and I wanted to do a ghost with legs, and I don't know if you know, but I actually have a tattoo that's extremely similar to this kind of thing. So I wanted to do this thing of a ghost lady like flashing her boobs. And what's actually kind of funny is that I really was struggling with the proportions, and not even so much the proportions, but just like how the folds in the fabric would work. And so this is kind of like a little bit of a revealing secret, or, you know, whatever, I don't really care, but I actually took a reference of myself of like flashing the camera, and I put it into Procreate and I started using that as my reference. So it's actually, the finished illustration is based off my own body, which is kind of fun, kind of scary. but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do, really. So these are just really rough sketches of my Inktober prompts. This is kind of the start, I would say, of where my style starts to shift into a little bit more whimsical. This one, I don't know why, I just really like it. And this was for the prompt Bug. I just really like the idea of this little kid like dressed up as a cockroach, and like she really did not want to wear that, but her mom wanted her to wear it. I don't know. This was another Inktober prompt that I really liked. It's very fun. This was when I started getting into colored pencils, I'd say, and I started like drawing just some fruits and things like that. Plus Mike Wazowski. My dog has a toy that is Mike Wazowski, so I was like using that as a reference while sitting watching Avatar: The Last Airbender. This is my Inktober drawing for Snake, I think it was. So this is when you'll really see my art style shift and starting to get into primary colors, and just kind of really messing around and just letting myself be free with what it was I was drawing. And then this was my Inktober practice for skulls, and then I actually started messing around with some pastels, and that was really fun. This was my original sketch for the prompt Terror Twins. I really wish that my like finished illustration kind of turned out that good, but it didn't. And then this was just me sketching some shoes and trying out a hand. This is a drawing that I absolutely love. I actually studied human anatomy quite a bit in college, and it's one of my like biggest nerd geeky outy parts of myself. Like, I have 2 human anatomy posters up in my room. I just absolutely love the human body, how it functions, literally everything. And so sometimes I just get really into, you know, kind of the beauty of the human body. In this sense, it's just the skeletal system, but I just really like the sketch and I like the colors. And there's also this duck over here, which is really random. Some more colored pencil sketching. Here was the Terror Twins, like the finished one. I honestly am not really that jazzed about it, but it is what it is. And then this is a little 10-page rant that I go on about Guy Fieri. It's super random, and I will not be showing that. But this is me experimenting a little bit with inks, because for my art class, we had to do a project based on it, and also we had to do a comic redraw, and so I chose the Watchmen, because that's a comic that my dad really likes, and I kind of drew it for him and also for my project, but it turned out really awesome. This is when I started getting back into faces and definitely experimenting more with colored pencils and things like that. I really love this sketch right there. I was gonna turn that one into a sticker actually, but I haven't actually gotten around to ordering it. Here are just some more faces. I do really like this sketch as well. And then here's just a lot more faces. I got just really into drawing them, and there's so many in here that I like, and I like this spread a lot, to be completely honest. And just some more doodling, more faces. Here I tried drawing my pet rats, who unfortunately passed away at the beginning of 2020, but they are still always on the forefront of my mind. They were basically my daughters. I've never felt so attached to a creature before, but yeah, these are my babies, and I absolutely adore and miss them deeply. This was actually when a friend of mine asked me to help them with some album art for some music that they were dropping, which didn't actually pan out for me, but it was really interesting trying to navigate that, and like trying to work with someone else is something that I've never really tried before. And it wasn't necessarily a commission, it was more of like a favor, but it was interesting for sure. Here's just like a bunch of really random doodles. Here's when I started getting obsessed with houses. And there's just a lot of fun stuff going on in this spread, honestly. Here is just me drawing some yellow things, because sometimes I guess you just need to do that. Oh my god. Are you kidding me? I didn't even see that. I forgot I did that. That is my brain for you. Here are just some more doodles. This was more practice for that album cover I was talking about earlier. This is just kind of me having a lot of ideas and trying to like quickly jot them down and not necessarily getting around to finishing them, but I mean, that's kind of what a sketchbook is for, just for getting your ideas down and whatnot. This was me attempting some pastel stuff. It's not my finest work, but whatever. This is just a lot more faces and some more ghosts and things like that. This is horrifying. I don't know if you've ever seen The Haunting of Hill House, but the broken neck lady, it just reminds me of that, and it's horrifying, and it honestly is making me sweat. This is a really cute sketch that I wish I explored further, but you know, sometimes it just doesn't work out, and it'll live here in my sketchbook. Alright, here is time for another art switch up. I got some new art supplies, and I got the Faber-Castell, I think it's the Polychromos colored pencils. I absolutely love them. I've been using them absolutely non-stop, and you'll see. Just hang on. It's about to get good now. This is like a little bit more current. So here I'm just starting to explore with the new colored pencils I'd gotten, drawing faces, just a lot of really doodly things. This is when I started working on perspective, trying to kind of go back to the basics and not just drawing random doodle faces all the time, and just trying to get a grasp for things. So this page is not the prettiest, but it's honestly one of my favorites because these two became my new stickers in my Etsy store, which the link will be in the description below if you wanted to maybe purchase these little stickers. And I've also got some other stuff in there as well, but this is when I find my color palette, and I absolutely am obsessed with that color palette. And this was me just kind of making up a little tiny comic in my head about the sun and the moon being best friends, kind of always being in sync with our lives. And it's kind of like this idea that so every morning we wake up to the sun, and then every night we say goodnight to the moon. And I don't know, I just was sitting in my room. I think that the moon was shining like directly into my bedroom, and I was just looking at it and I just kind of had that idea. This is another one of my favorite spreads when I started getting really into drawing stars. A lot of these were also part of my latest shop update in my Etsy store. This one definitely is my favorite one. I just think that this kind of like captures my style perfectly. This one is another favorite of mine that I like to say is what I look like on the inside. So it's kind of like a self-portrait, but on the inside of myself. So my art has definitely began to be sillier. This is just me planning for another shop update that I'm hopefully gonna start working on soon. I fell behind quite a bit, but I'm going to start making some clay keychains, and stay tuned for that. And then here are just some more doodles and whatnot, me getting some ideas out. This is my favorite thing that has come out of the sketchbook, is this little jester boy. I freaking love him. I want him to be a sticker so bad. I'm kind of working on that right now, but I've been so busy with my Depop store. But just know that I love him so much. And then here's just some really random doodles. I tried drawing the jester again in like a more finished way, but I don't like him. He will never be as good as this boy. Like, I can't. He's so cute. And then some more drawings. This is my little clown boy and my little shruggy boy. And then that is it. That is my 5th sketchbook finished. I hope that you enjoyed the journey of watching my art progress and whatnot. Thank you for watching and for staying as long as you have. That means a lot to me, and I will hopefully see you guys in my next video. I try to post once a week on Mondays. If you want to see more of my art, you can follow me on my Instagram at the.broken.arts.club, which is also the name of my Etsy. I run a Depop shop under the name Lilith45, and I have this YouTube channel. So if you want to follow me on my art journey, please subscribe. It would totally help me out, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Okay, bye!